Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. Are you okay? Good. So, let's start. Today we're going to continue analyzing Litany to explore more the implications and the ramifications of certain tropes. I know we started the analysis last time, but it was more a response than analysis. Today we're going to dive deeper, to discuss the other parts of the poem, and then to discuss the form and to see its relationship to the meaning. Hopefully, we have 5 minutes to make you write a paragraph about the rigidity of the lady. It's a paragraph, more just we'll see how it works. Good. Now, before we start, let's listen to a wonderful report. Good. Let's see. Oh, the lady. Yes.
Despite the hotness outside of the class, the last lecture was amazing and cool, which made me prepare a new report. Maybe I will read it in front of my colleagues. The lecture talked about courtly love, which is prohibited in our religion and also in our culture. But we are adults and aware about this kind of love. All in all, the lecture and the lecturer were so amazing that made time running quickly.
Okay, thank you for thinking positively of the class in this way. Let's have another creative report. Yes? I think you read last time. Hey, you're lucky, huh? Good.
Sir Philip Sidney was the writer of the poem Litany. He wrote a very famous essay called An Apology to Poetry. He complained his beloved lady because she is cocky. From the very beginning, he described love as a dead person, and then he said sorry. In that lecture, the teacher was so nice, especially when he walked among us and asked questions about Litany. I don't know, maybe this poem is strange, but it has a special taste, the taste of honey. I like the item when he said, love is dead. It seems to be too funny. The teacher explained to us some difficult items, and then he said, anyone can give me a summary. Some students gave the poem an attitude of irony. In short, I like that poem because of having special sight of beauty. Also, I admire the whole image, metaphors, and simile.
Good, thank you very much. Clap for that. Thank you. Good. I was very pleased you liked the poem, and I know many of you have many reports. But yesterday when I was expounding the poem further, one student thought that love cannot die. Yes, I said love can die, but there is a unique love which will never die. Do you know which love we are talking about? Our love for our Creator Allah, our love for our Prophet. This is eternal love, Okay, we developed now this emotion, this love, and it will remain with us forever, even after our death. Good. So I think you have more time at home, to read the poem more and more. And I think we discussed the first stanza. Today we're going to go to the second stanza, in which he is appealing to people. Weep, neighbors, weep. So he is invoking people. Why do you think he's invoking people? Weep, neighbors, weep. Yes. He's calling weep, neighbors, weep. It's a repetition. And again, because the whole atmosphere is a funeral atmosphere, so this this stanza continues to suggest the funeral atmosphere. And why do you think he chose the funeral atmosphere? Or what does this add to the poem? Yeah, more seriousness? More sadness? Because if you remember, when he like declared in the second line that love is dead, that was very funny thing, you know, very, very ridiculous. Yes.
Maybe he wants to realize his experience, that he wants everybody to share his suffering.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, and this is what he did when he declared that all love is dead. However, here, Weed Neighbors Weed, he wanted, like, you know, to complete this atmosphere of the funeral. And I think the atmosphere of the funeral is, Jahan?
It also makes the metaphor more visual and more
yeah, concrete.
Because love is dead, and you imagine a funeral, so if it's as if it's, you know, it's
and I think this this adds some dignity to the whole situation, because we're talking about, you know, a funeral scene. We're talking about like somebody who's dying, and this person seems to be, you know, high-ranking person, because like the mourner, the rituals, you know, it's a church. The place itself gives some a feeling of awe and pity, which makes the poem more attractive, I think. Okay, Weed Neighbors Weed, do you not hear it said that love is dead? Again, he is reminding the audience that, you know, of the crisis of his ordeal, that love is dead. And the personification runs. Now we reach this, you know, stanza, which is very rich in its figurative language. Is deathbed peacock's folly? You know, what is like the folly of, you know? Of course, here we have a metaphor. What's the metaphor? What's the metaphor?
His love was like a peacock?
No, I mean the deathbed itself is the peacock's folly. You know, like death, you know, or love which is dead, is lying on the deathbed. But what is the deathbed? It is arrogance. It is peacock's folly. So what is peacock's folly? It is the arrogance, the conceit. And do you think that conceit and arrogance is a bad value? Yeah. Like, because here, like in a very indirect way, he's telling us the many, terrible attributes of the lady. Like we understand that she's changeable. We understand that she is, you know, like disdainful, scornful, and now he's telling us like she's arrogant. And his deathbed, peacock's folly. His whining sheep is what? Shame. You know, like the shameful behavior is like what? A winding sheep. And here the winding sheep is what? What does he mean by winding sheep? Like when somebody dies, they wrap him, you know, and this is the winding sheep. It's like, you know, the coffin itself. It's the coffin itself. So the winding sheep is what? Shame. Like she's wrapped by shame. Shame what? Shame why? Because of her shameful behavior. Because of not considering him. Yes, she rejected him. And his will false seeming folly. Like, okay, when we are talking about somebody who died, sometimes like if, some people leave a will. You know what's a will?
Yeah.
Yeah, a will, something, take this, take my money, take, this is a will. So what kind of will did, love leave? Huh? What kind of will? It was full of lies. Again, this is another, offensive, vituperative, like attribute. You know what's mean? Vituperative, like it's very, offensive one. His whining sheet, his shame, his will false seeming folly, and then his sole executor in blame. So blame here, again we have another personification. The blame is seen like what? Yeah, a human being who executes. Who executes. So yes, the executor, the one who terminates the life of a suspect, the life of a criminal, or executor here, it has double meaning. It could be the judge. So blame itself, is a terminator of love. When lovers or friends keep blaming each other, what happens? This noble relationship between them, comes to an end. See what I mean? Yes. So blame is being seen as a person, who's executes, kills, or give a terrible judgment. And then, the refrain is repeating itself. And we'll talk about the refrain, the value of the refrain later. But the refrain, it is like more supplication. What's it mean, supplication? He is supplicating, he's praying God to protect men against, the madness of women. And the madness of women, their pride, their shame, their arrogance, their disdain, and so on. Very disturbing, isn't it? Very disturbing. And, sorry. Yes. Let dirge be sung. What is a dirge? It's a sad song. It's a sad song. And trentals. Trentals. Also, like this is taken from, church situation. Like when somebody dies, they keep like, singing songs. They are called trentals for 30 days, in memory of the dead person. So trentals is, like a sad religious song itself. Because the dead, is of high-ranking position, so there should be, a manifestation or a certain manifestation that said with, the infected or the deceased one. Let dirge be sung and trentals rightly read, for love is dead. Okay. Serung. Yes. Serung his tomb ordained. Again, what figure of speech when we say serung? It's a personification, because serung is portrayed like what? Like what? Like a sculptor. Like a sculptor who is carving, digging on a stone. You see? So serung his tomb ordained. I think serung, it's a kind of, sarcastic. It's a sarcastic. Yes, serung his tomb ordained. Now we are talking about, the tomb itself, the grave. But what is the grave? Here, what is the grave? My mistress, marble heart. Wow, this is very bad, eh? So the grave of the dead love will be where? What? His mistress, marble heart. What do you think of this image, Marble heart. Yeah. Yeah, it's irony in what sense?
Because he's saying he's calling her marble heart, but at the same time he's attributing something really bad.
Yeah. Yeah, but you think that marble has a positive? Is he praising her or is he complaining?
It's like ice cold.
Yes. So what is like known about marble? Let's together figure out the connotations of the word marble. Yes, please. Hard. Rigidness. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It seems soft, but it's like it's hard.
So it is elusive, it seems nice, but it is like hard. Okay. Yes. It seems, yeah, it seems like, soft, but it is cold. And I think cold, why? Because it doesn't absorb heat. It doesn't absorb heat. So we are talking about a heart which doesn't absorb, which, keeps things dead, like freeze things, in this heart.
Yeah, but at the same time, the irony comes from the fact that marble, sometimes we attribute something precious.
Yeah, you can say the paradox, paradox here. It could be paradox like because marble, if we are talking about a marble heart, because marble is very precious, very rich, and it's very glittering, glowing. So this might be like, it's a paradoxical thing. He might be alluding to the beauty of the lady, This is a possibility. But it shows how hard her heart is. My mistress, marble heart. which epitaph contains. Now, this Serong, the sculptor, is decorating, the grave. And the grave is the marble heart of the lady. So look here, it is a personification, then it is a metaphor. Which epitaph contains? What is the epitaph? What is an epitaph? Yeah, so it is like what is written on the grave, is epitaph. Even like the poetry which is written in memory of somebody is called epitaph. Epitaph, it was written in the grave, on the grave, the stone of the grave. So we call it epitaph. What is this epitaph? Her eyes were once his dart. Very, ambiguous. Do you know why? We have more than one meaning here. Her eyes were once his dart. And I like here, it seems that there is reference. Reference to whom? Huh? No, there is allusion here. We call allusion. Allusion, it is like reference to a text. Allusion. Allusion, it is different or reference to another text or another, something outside the text. Allusion. It's not intertextuality here, but rather it is allusion because he's not referring to a text, but he's referring to a myth, something outside the text, to a Greek myth of Cupid. Like, who's a Cupid? Like in Greek mythology, Cupid is an archer. You know what's mean an archer? A man carrying darts and shooting. So if the dart hits, and this man, Cupid, is blind. Is blind. So this is the Greek mythology, and his daily, activities are like shooting, at and hitting people like blindly. So, this is how, the idea of love is blind come from like this, myth. Her eyes were once his dart. So the two meanings, like the two possible meanings, what do you understand from this line? You see? Yes?
That he was fascinated by her
Yes.
eyes. He loved her.
Yes.
The meaning is now her eyes were the reason of killing him.
Yeah. Like how, how could eyes like kill? Yeah, but if you go back to the poem, when we are talking about disdain, when we are talking about, so if like the eyes are full of disdain, disparagement, so yes, then the eyes would be like the murderer of love. You see what I mean? So there are two meanings. Either, her eyes were, fascinating, or he was attracted by her eyes, and this, she is beautiful, or as we say, like, her eyes were full of scorn, and this, put an end or, terminated the life of love. Then suddenly, now, believing this is a funeral atmosphere, and suddenly, we have the poet coming to say, alas, I'm sorry, I lie. Don't believe me, don't trust me. Come on. What are you doing, Are you playing with us? Okay?
Maybe he think he will put himself in a serious problem when he said love's dead. So
to retreat, to compliment. So you think it is like, he said what he wanted to say, and now he wants like to excuse himself by saying, no, I'm sorry, like, But he did. He sent the message about the lady, yes.
Maybe also he was like outraged. He was really furious that he couldn't keep his sadness inside, so he had to write it. But then he felt a little bit bad because maybe he generalized it.
Yeah, but like here, as you see, it is the mind, the reason, which dominates at the end. Dominates the passion of anger, the passion of, revenge. So man might get angry, but at the end of the day, the reason, should control and discipline, this man. Again here, he is, reflecting a cultural value in the Elizabethan age. Because, as we said, the Elizabethan believed in the idea of order. Man should be ordered. Man should not let any passion. There should be balance in you, and reason should control everything. So here, as you see, we have conflict between passion and reason, and it is the reason which, dominates at the end, which controls the whole, situation and the whole behavior. So love is not dead. It's backing off, Backing off. Love is not dead, but sleeps in her unmatched mind. So he started now to praise. Is he placating her? You know what I mean, placate? Like when you hit a child, the child would cry, and then you placate. Oh, don't do that, This is placation. Is he placating her? Telling her, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that, no, It's a possibility, but you see here, this is a reversal of the whole, the whole poem. And it seems like he's praising her. Yes?
It might also seem to some that it's ironic at the end.
Yeah.
Because you can grasp how honest his entire poem was, and then at the end he goes and reverses everything. So it might seem a bit sarcastic.
Yeah. So in this sense, Jahan, you want to suggest this is only a stylistic, shift, but it is not a thematic shift. The theme is the same. He's still, criticizing the woman, and he's criticizing her by using ironic. He is sarcastic in her unmatched mind, and he means she doesn't have, See what I mean? There, it's another possibility. But if we look at Spencer, I think, Sidney. Sidney was a nobleman, and I think his vision and idea of the woman was not like, the other courtly lovers. He returned, her dignity, he respected her. And as we said, because, the queen of that time was, a woman. So he should behave himself. But this is what we observe in all his poems. He is not like other courtly. He writes about courtly love, but he's not frustrated to the end. He keeps hope. He keeps hope, and he thinks that women is not that bad. Women has dignity, and so on. But I don't know. You are still cynical. You don't believe him. Are you cynical? I mean, you don't trust the poet?
All these attributes, and then at the end he goes, oh, sorry.
Yeah, look at him. And it's not sorry. He is saying, love is not dead, but asleep in her unmatched mind. And I think, whether this is irony, but if we are looking about this, yeah, it is good. When people use their mind, so she's using her unmatched mind. Excellent. She's brilliant. Where she, his counsel keep, till due desert, till the right person comes, and then she would go ahead. So she's not a lady who's swayed by her passion, by her emotions, but she's a lady who employs her mind to control her behavior. And he's a poet also who uses his mind, to control his behavior, and perhaps we admire him for this. Right, as you see, the poem is, funny, lovely, it made us sad, and we laughed, it made us or attracted us by its concrete personifications, by metaphors, and even by music. I don't know, it seems like Amal is having something to say about music, rhyme and rhythm. Okay. So Amal is always helping us. Look here how she felt this with,
At first, the poem consists of 4 stanzas, 10 lines each. And at the end of each stanza, there is a 4-line refrain or a choral that is some sort of musical, you know, fancy, frenzy, thus, and us. As for the rhyme scheme, it is complicated to some extent and a bit tricky.
Yeah, excuse me. I noticed that, like, the rhyme, sometimes it is masculine, sometimes it's feminine.
And even I rhyme. There is the spread, dead, infected, and rejected.
So the rhyme is not consistent.
No.
Sometimes it is like feminine, like rejected, like disdain, but it is gain is like masculine. Thus is masculine, us is masculine. So it is one syllable. So we are dealing with, a rhyme which is not like very systematic. Go ahead.
Which goes, of course, with the atmosphere of the poem and his state of mind. The rhyme goes A, B, C, D, D, and E. As for the rhythm was also complicated. It is I am, it goes unstressed, stressed, unstressed, stressed. But as for the bass meter, to decide whether it's a diameter or a pentameter, because of the line length, it was also hard to decide. So the numbers here I have enlisted are the numbers of the overall syllables, whether stressed or unstressed. But when you want to decide what kind of base meter, monometer, diameter, you have to only count the stressed syllables. So we have
I think
here
in the first line we have 10 syllables.
Yes.
And this is iambic pentameter
because it goes 5.
It goes ring out your bells, let morning shows be spread, for love is dead. It's very systematic iambic pentameter. Okay, and then you have the diameter,
which it consists of 2 feet. It means 2 stressed syllables: unstressed, stressed, unstressed, stressed.
And then we have trimeter. I think
I was going to ask them actually that.
Yes.
I want someone of you to come and to divide the line, and to choose and to decide whether it's a trimeter or any kind of them. Who wants to come and give it a shot?
Yes.
Come on, it's not hard.
Yeah, all love is dead, infected with plague, or deep disdain, worth as not worth rejected. I think all of them are having, the same rhythm.
Would you like to come and do this, yes?
Yeah. Try like.
It is easy.
It doesn't drive. Allah, Allah, Allah. Yes? Hold on. Because they never cover. Okay.
empty.
Okay. So you can just.
Okay, you can just say.
Allah is dead and infected. So like 6 syllables.
Yes.
Allah. Look, we don't say all. Allah. Okay. Allah. Unstressed, stressed. Unstressed, stressed. Is that unstressed, stressed, and then infected. Infected, like 2 syllables. Here, and here. You can just, yes. This is the marker. Yeah. You're right. Okay. No, like here, excuse me, all
Love.
As that infected, affected, unstressed, stressed, So, this is like trimeter.
6 foot.
Now,
6 foot.
Yes.
But the feet is only the stressed. So there are 3.
Okay. So it is trimeter. So like here in the poem we have pentameter, we have trimeter, we have diameter. I don't know why. Why do you think, like he's varying? Is he experimenting? Why is like some lines are short, some lines are long, what does this suggest? Yeah. Pardon? Yeah, it, like these lines, because when you are angry, you don't like speak when you are relaxed. So here, he's angry, he's sad. I think the change, like resonate with his, like mood, state of mind, So he keeps like variating, So because he was angry, so he says love is dead, And then he start like to catch on and like to go back. At the end of the poem, I think he returns to the iambic pentameter. So he's not consistent, in using this, and the variation, it has to do with the variation of his state of mind. Because he was angry, he was dominated by his passion, and when people are dominated by their passion, they speak quickly, they don't have time to relax in their words.
It's interesting how it first begins as pentameter, then diameter, but all these are trimeters.
Yeah, I think the trimeters like is good for the supplication, because when you make supplication prayer, it's good. From so ungrateful fancy, it gives a music from such a female frenzy, from them that use men thus good. It's good for singing. Like last time when you did it, it was very musical, because this is, and the refrain gives this church sound, this church atmosphere. So let's do it together like last time. From so ungrateful, together. From so grateful fancy, from such a female frenzy, from them that good Lord deliver us. It's musical and it is apt for a funeral atmosphere. Now I think, do you want to add anything, Amal? So give us hope. Okay, so Amal is always giving us hope by, talking about rhyme and rhythm, etc. But now I think it's time for you to work for, let's say, 10 minutes. To do what? 10 minutes here. I'm giving you, like, I need you to write a paragraph commenting on like the Marble Heart issue. You see, what is that? It is here. Did Sir Wrong his tomb ordain my mistress Marble Heart, which epitaph contained? Her eyes were, his dark. I need you to comment on this. You can do it in like groups of 2 or 3. So you have 10 minutes for this exercise. Of course, this is an idea which shows, the angle of rigidity, like how she's rigid, Like talk about this and try to link it with the overall theme of the poem, because we are talking about, courtly love or unrequited love. And here, like as you see, the poet is complaining, isn't he? Is he complaining? Again, there is a possibility that he was acclaiming. So you can talk about 2 possibilities, you can talk about 1 possibility, but okay, go ahead, and I want you to write like what we did in Sir Thomas Wyatt. I need a nice paragraph, okay? Go ahead. Just write it, huh? Write it. 10 minutes for this. Okay, I think now you're done. It's only a small paragraph. So let's see those who succeeded in writing a small paragraph. Yes, Ola, I think. You come here and read what you have. Okay? Read. It's a paragraph, it's a part of the whole commentary, but we are concentrating on the image of the Marble Heart and, the whole stanza. Yes, what do you want to say?
Like, since everybody is deceived by the delicacy of the female's apparent, claiming that passion dominates their decisions.
Could you slow down and raise your voice a little bit?
Since everybody is deceived by the delicacy of the female's apparent, claiming that passion dominates their decisions and behaviors, so it's the time for everyone to know that women are rigid and hard as much as they seem delicate.
This is what the poet thinks,
Yeah.
Yeah. So there is elusive,
apparent or elusive
appearance about her.
Also how the poet complained from the killing eyes, since she cannot do anything to make them less attractive, or even less arrogant or disdainful.
Okay, good. Thank you. But it's still like you didn't talk about the mythical, the myth, itself. Good. Let's see another paragraph. Yes, Jihan.
Just that, and I only talk about the marble heart.
Okay, good.
Because I didn't have time. Okay, Sir Philip Sidney's A Litany sure does portray his love in the most rigid fashion a lady can be. Though he tempered his wrath with some reason towards the end, his third stanza pictures the grave of his love lying in his mistress' marble heart, i.e. stone tough heart. The poet seems quite offended for being rejected, which is suggested by his wrath and the courtly love theme that is dominating his discourse.
Wow, it's a critique. Yes, please. Have you done all of this in 10 minutes? It's good, you know. You see here, as we see, we reach this point of connecting, you know, the specialized language with the public language. Yes?
The poet tries to gain the reader's sympathy.
Could you raise? The poet tries to gain
the reader's sympathy. He describes his beloved's heart as marble in its hardness and crudely. He continues that her eyes killed him and his love. He tried to convey bad picture about all women to make the readers share him in his suffering.
So I think you are more general. You are very general, because we need here, like when you are talking about her eyes were like a dart, you have to talk about like how deadly and fatal, you know, like her eyes were to love itself. So you escaped from that and you started to talk about general things. Try to be more specific. Good. Yes? The last one before we leave. Next time we're doing Spencer. I wrote her name upon the strand, which is like a very important Elizabethan theme.
The poet is starting the stanza with a calling of the breeze to say his journals because of the death of his lover, who describes her as a marble. I think he meant the dark side in the marble, that she is tough and don't compare with others, because when a marble comes close to another one, it pushes him away. That's exactly what the lover did to the poet. The other metaphor is in the heart. He symbolizes her to the deal that can't be easily touched. At the end, the poet.
So I think when he portrays her heart like a marble stone, like, is very offensive, you know.
Yes.
So there is no chance, even if, you know, for any passion to survive.
Yes.
Good. Yes.
At the end, he mentioned her eyes as the dart, who makes him fall in love, and at the same time, those are the one who killed him and rejected him.
Good. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening. And next time, we hope you come with a new poem and a new poet, you know. But remember, try to jot down all, the points we discussed. You can look at the class again, and hopefully you'll be okay. Thank you.